Will Graves from the Associated Press.
Will, go ahead.
Hey, Ben. Hope you're well. Thanks for doing this. Quick question. I mean, could you go back to what happened specifically last year, against Seattle? How long was it bothering you? What happened in that drive specifically? And did you sort of know in the moment that you were in real trouble?
Well, Will, I'll tell you, I'm going to start with you. I'm very nervous, by the way. I'm not sure why, but I haven't spoken to you guys in so long. So forgive me if I take a minute to think about some of my answers. But, specifically going back, I've had a little bit of an injury in that elbow for quite a few years, but just something I've kind of dealt with. Never serious enough to do anything with. But, specifically on that, the drive in Seattle, just kind of that pain wasn't really going away. And I threw one deep one to Juju down the right side, and I just really felt a different pain and different discomfort than I've ever felt. And it was kind of shooting down my arm. And so I knew something was different at that moment.
Okay, next up is Dale Lawley from DK. Dale, go ahead.
Was there any doubt in your mind whatsoever after that happened, going through the rehab and doing everything, that you were not going to come back, or you were going to come back this year? I mean, were you pretty driven during that whole period?
Yeah, I was. I knew it hurt, and I knew I had some options, but I just didn't feel like I was done playing football. I really felt that I wanted to come back. I was excited about this team, and I just didn't feel like I was done. I don't feel like I'm done playing football yet. So if it was a thought, it wasn't a long one to really stop.
Thanks, Ben.
All right,
Okay, Jerry Dulac, you on here just to make sure? Jerry, go ahead.
Yeah, I am, Bert. Hey, Ben, how you doing? Where is your arm relative to, say, August 4th this time last year, and what do you expect your training camp schedule to be?
Hey, Jerry, I thought we were going to get a golf question, but I guess I'll take football from you.
Oh, that's nice.
My arm feels really, really good. We threw a lot of balls yesterday, and kind of waking up today to see how it was going to feel, and it feels great. And that's kind of what I anticipated, because we've been working more than usual in off season in terms of throwing. I've put together really a regimen of 2 to 3 days a week of throwing for the last probably kind of 2 months, if not longer than that too. So I think the plan is still to kind of really kind of pitch count, if you will, through training camp. I worked really hard yesterday in terms of a lot of throws. I'll throw maybe try about half that amount today, and then tomorrow I'll just really back off again and just kind of to see how it's going to feel. Obviously, this is a little different training camp because you're not really doing one-on-ones and you're not doing 7-on-7 right now. So right now we're just building up and working on timing with receivers, tight ends, running backs, things like that. So I have had no setbacks. It feels really, really good. And so I'm really excited about that.
Okay, next question is Brooke Pryor from ESPN.com. Brooke, go ahead.
Hey, Ben, thanks for doing this. In some of the recent photos and videos we've seen of you just over the last couple months, you look like you're pretty trim and close to being in playing shape. Do you feel like you're at your playing weight? And what was that process like, just from, maybe where you were late last year? I know in the past you've cut out sugar and carbs and things like that. What was that process like? And is it any harder to get in playing shape at 38 years old?
Well, hi, Brooke. I think the knowing that I am a little bit older, it's important to make sure that you're in shape. And so I've had usually it's just an off season of training. And even at that, I don't start right away because your body's usually worn out from the season and things like that. So I usually start the training process later. And so having no football last year, I actually trained all during the season, and then I didn't really have an off season. So I'm actually lighter than I've been since, probably 14 years. And so I feel really good. I feel strong. I feel healthy. I feel young, if you can feel young at this age. So I'm just really excited about the season and the group of guys that we have here.
All right, next question is for Mike Pursuta from WDBE. Mike, go ahead.
How's it going, Ben?
Hey, Mike.
Wish you luck on that thinking about your answers thing. Hope that works out for you.
Thanks.
Assuming you guys become the team you want to be, you've got the reigning champs in Kansas City on your side, pinball offense. Baltimore's the reigning division champ, pinball offense. Can you guys keep up with that theoretically?
I hope so. We have to do whatever we have to do to win football games. That's kind of the most important thing. It's throwing the ball if we have to. It's running the ball if we have to. It's misdirection stuff. I mean, we brought Coach Canada in to help with some of that stuff, and I think Coach Ike is going to help in a lot of areas and really kind of giving Coach Randy a lot of ideas and thoughts and help. And so, excuse me, I'm just excited about where this offense could go. And I mean it truly mean it when I say we have to do whatever we have to do to win football games. Obviously, as a quarterback, you want to throw the ball. That's just natural. But at this point in my career, especially with the group we have, it really can't be about anything other than winning football games and doing that however we have to.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, next question comes from Missy Matthews from Steelers Media Productions. Missy, go ahead.
Hey, Ben, thanks for taking some time today. You mentioned Ike Hilliard, and we had a chance to talk to him yesterday, and he basically said, a wide receivers coach can never have enough time with a quarterback. Being that your relationship probably started virtually, now you're getting to see him in person. How do you kind of build that relationship so he knows what you're looking for, and also being that he has a very young room?
He does have a young room, but the great thing about Coach Ike is that he's got experience, both coaching and playing. And so the best way for me to get to know him and to kind of get on the same page with him is just communicate. We try and spend time talking, both on the field yesterday a little bit, as well as in the meeting rooms and walking in between meetings and things like that. Just sometimes it's just little things. Today I joked with him and asked what if his rookie year was like 97 or what I say 89 or something. Just little things like that. Just trying to have fun with him and each other and joking and then him asking me kind of if I cared about the rotation of the receivers in, and I asked him, what his thought was on the rotation, just literally just communicating and talking. And I trust him that he's going to get those guys as ready to go as anybody could because, he wants them to be great as much as anybody.
Okay, next one is from Joe Rutter from the Tribune Review. Joe, go ahead.
Hey, Ben, how you doing? Can everybody hear me this time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, can you detail exactly what they did to your elbow, what surgery they performed, and have you known of any other quarterback that has gone through this exact type of procedure?
Well, I'm not a doctor, and I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I will do my best. There's no real name for it. It's not Tommy John's or anything like that. There's, flexor tendons that are attached to your elbow. 5 of them, and I tore 3 of them off the bone. And so they go in and they sew through the tendon and they reattach it to an anchor in your elbow. So as far as I am aware, I think it's happened to just kind of everyday people on the street, if you will. From what I've been told, it's never happened to a quarterback to this magnitude. I believe I can't think of it right now. I believe there was at least another quarterback that had at least 1, maybe 2 torn off, but from what I understand, not 3. So, but that's just, like I said, that's just what I've been told, if I remember correctly.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. Mark Caboli from The Athletic. Mark, go ahead.
All right, Ben, how you doing?
Hey, Mark.
Hey, I'm sure, as you mentioned before, part of your motivation of coming back to win a championship, but how important is it for you to show that you can come back from a season-ending injury for the first time in your career? And how important is it for you to go out on your own choosing rather than that last image of you holding your elbow walking off? Is that important for you?
Mark, I think any athlete, any competitor will tell you they want to go out on their own terms, right? And it doesn't happen all the time. We don't always get lucky, whether that's trades, cuts, injuries, whatever that is. And so I think if I had felt that I was closer to the end, it might have been more of a decision for me to, think longer about coming back or not. But I didn't feel that I'm close to that yet. I'm not saying I've got 10 years left in me, but I definitely feel like I've got some really good years left in me. So that was definitely a motivating factor, was coming back and showing that I still have it in the tank. I still have a lot to give this team. I still have a lot to give the fans, and I still want to win Lombardis. And I say that with a plural on the end.
All right, next question is from Aditi Kinkabala from NFL Network. Aditi, go ahead.
Hi, Aditi.
So, Ben, sorry about that, but as somebody who may be older than you, yes, you can indeed feel young at 38. If you'll ignore the uncooperative people.
It just sounds like I'm at home. That's okay.
Awesome. That's my goal here. So you're not nervous, right?
No.
GM Kevin Colbert multiple times, Ben, said to us in the last year that he expects you to be better. He expects you to be healthier than you perhaps have been in the last few years. And after watching from the sidelines for a whole season, he expects you to actually have a new perspective. Do you think that Kevin is fair in both of those assessments? And the second part of it, in what way was watching from the sideline sort of helpful? I mean, after this many years of playing the game, could you really actually learn anything new in watching?
Well, I can learn that I don't want to watch anymore. I want to be out there. But, I do think that I can be better than I've been in the past. Not dealing with a nagging elbow is definitely something. I'm not saying that it was every day that it bothered me, but to feel healthy, to feel more in shape, things like that. Obviously, you can't turn back Father Time and make myself feel like I'm 21 and run all over the field. But I think you can go on the field even at an older age and still feel really good. And I feel that way right now. I feel mentally sharp, even through Zoom meetings, as crazy as that sounds. I think I was more involved also with Coach Randy and stuff last year, when you talk about from the sideline, having the headset on, hearing the communication from the coaches, hearing communication from players. When you're playing, when you're on the field, when you come off to the sideline, you only have so much time really to communicate with receivers, running backs, linemen, things like that. And then look at the pictures and all the things that go into in between series. Last year, I was actually able to watch more because I could watch kind of the big picture, if you will. And then I was able to speak to more guys on the sideline and talk to them and communicate kind of what I saw, what did they see. So I think it was beneficial. I think it kind of goes back in a crazy way to when my junior year of high school when I played wide receiver, and the coach was always like, "Oh, it benefited you as a senior to play quarterback from playing wide receiver your junior year." And I never understood it at the time, but I think it does to a certain extent because you can see the other side of it. And so I was able to kind of see the bigger picture of just being a quarterback from being on the sideline last year.
Few more questions here before we let Ben go. Next up is Jeff Hathorn from 93.7 The Fan. Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, Ben. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Hey, Jeff.
Just curious, how have you gone about trying to build a relationship with Eric Ebron, and what could he and a healthy Vance McDonald mean to this offense?
Well, I think that having both those guys as playmakers on the field at the same time can create some matchup problems for a defense. We did it a few years back when we had Heath Miller and Matt Spaeth on the field. You kind of can dictate what the defense does or gives you in terms of personnel. If they want to match up, then you can throw the ball. If they want to put smaller personnel to stop the pass, then you can run. You should be able to run the ball. So having two kind of dynamic weapons like that can still give you a lot in the run game. I think people sometimes get this perception that, okay, you've got two kind of skilled receivers. You're going to use them just to pass. But I've spent some time with – I know Vance obviously very well, and spending time with Eric the last kind of few months, knowing from both of them that they don't want to be lumped into the bubble of just being receiving tight ends. Like, they want to do whatever it takes to block, to put their nose in the pile, to run the ball, things like that. And I think that's encouraging because, you know that they've got a skill set, and that's passing, especially Ebron catching passes, but he wants to help this team however he can. So I think we can utilize those guys on multiple fronts in terms of helping this offense. And it's how Eric and I have gotten kind of relationships, just communicating. He stayed at my house earlier in the off season when we were throwing. And so we got to spend some time just sitting and talking and learning about each other. And he's excited to be here, and I'm excited to have him here, and the other guys are excited to have him here too.
All right,
Thanks.
2 more questions.
All right,
Jim Wexel from 247 Sports. Jim, go ahead.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, you guys have an elite defense. You have a veteran all-pro line. You have playmakers all over the place, a quarterback. Yet your long shots at like 24-1 I saw. Is that like the ideal circumstance, all of that put together?
Well, as you were naming things, I was going to say we just need a quarterback now. But, I think it's fun. I know a lot of guys like being on top and being hunted. Sometimes it's fun to be the underdog and to be overlooked. You're right. We do have a great defense, and I'm excited about that group. And that was one of the big reasons I was excited about coming back, was to play with a group like that. They let you play more free as a quarterback. And so I'm excited about that part of it. And obviously my linemen and all the skill guys we have. So it's okay. We can be overlooked. It's the off season, and no one knows what the season's going to kind of hold or entail. So, we're gonna go out there and just give it everything we have and try and win a football game.
We will go ahead with the last one, coming from Albie Oxenreiter with WPXI. Albie, go ahead.
Hey, Ben.
Oh, hey,
how are you?
Good. How are you?
You know what? I was trying to help out Ed there, so sorry for the delay.
All right, no problem.
Happy to fill in. Hey, Ben, are you at all concerned about the lack of preseason games for the team, but more specifically for you, coming off an injury and your first taste of game action will be the real stuff?
I bet you'd never think you'd hear a 17-year vet say that he misses preseason a little bit. I actually kind of was excited for it a little bit to get out there. I don't know if Coach T would have let me play, but I would have asked him, because I wanted to get in there and kind of get the feel of it again. So it's definitely going to be different. I mean, knowing that the first time you're out there, it's on the line and guys are counting on you. So a lot more added pressure. I'm going to have pressure on myself, obviously, but I don't want to let the guys down. So I'll have to do everything I can to make sure that I'm playing my best, or at least just not hurting the team when the time comes, not having that extra preseason and stuff.